Want to know a bit of a fun fact? You better, if you clicked on this video. I love BMWs. I love BMWs so much that I constantly say they're my favorite car brand, even though I've never actually owned one. I love BMWs so much that I constantly tell myself they're a good investment, even though they depreciate hilariously fast. I love BMW so much that my next car is most likely going to be the car in this video. That's right, buddy. My name is Mark Roden, and this is the deep dive on the wonderful BMW 3 Series F30. Obviously, most of you guys watching this video probably won't care whatsoever about my next purchases.
We do not care.
But I've been looking into 340i F30s for the past couple of months now, as I feel that they fit my needs perfectly, and in doing so I've found out that the F30 platform truly is amazing, and I want to share why I believe so with the rest of the world before these cars become ridiculously popular and every YouTuber on the planet is telling you to buy one, because that happens with literally every single BMW 3 Series after about 20 years. Buy an E46 now and wait on it for like 3 years and watch your money double or even triple. I'm going a little bit off script here, like this, I'm just freeballing right now, but these cars are insane. The BMW 3 Series, they drop and then they freaking rise up like crazy. Just buy an E46 now and just wait. But obviously the F30 is not the first BMW 3 Series of all time, and is most likely the most unknown one out of the bunch right now, I'd say. But I personally believe that that should 100% not be the case. So let's get into the history of it a little bit. The first ever BMW 3 Series was called the E21, and it was BMW's answer to Japanese cars, and it was Japanese cars selling so well due to them being so small. It was at the time the most fuel efficient, smallest, and cheapest BMW that the public could buy, besides like the Isetta, of course, but it combined the wonderful luxury of German engineering with the quote-unquote practicality of Japanese compact cars of the time, and sure enough, it sold like Coke at a rich white person's house party. I'm talking about Coca-Cola. YouTube, relax. Okay, we'll talk about it later. The next one was the E30, which is absolutely legendary in the car community as being a homologation hero when they came out with the wonderful M3. And the rest was history. They kept with the foolproof idea of making the base model 3 Series reliable and cheap, while giving those with a little bit more money the M3 option if they wanted to go fast. They did that with 3 more generations after the E30, each one technically better than last. Those include the E36, the E46, and the E90/E92 until 2012, when it was time to make the next generation of the 3 Series, the F30. Now, admittedly, the next generation BMW M3 did not come out in 2012. It instead came out in 2014, and it wasn't called the F30, it was called the F80, because BMW is ridiculously confusing. But that doesn't matter anyways, as we're not talking about the F80, we're talking about the F30, which is the base model. So that's kind of, just put that little bit of information to your side. I just wanted to explain that for people that were confused on BMW chassis codes. Now, there are an insane number of different trim levels and engines that the F30 actually came with, especially depending on which country you live in. But since I am a big old American, and most of my subscribers are also burger-eating Americans as well, I will only be talking about the main 3 big sellers here in the Americas: the 328i, the 335i, and the 340i. Also, for those curious, yes, the F31, the wagon version, and the F34, the fastback version, which was called the Gran Turismo for God knows what reason, are pretty much exactly the same cars. So everything I say in this video applies to those cars as well. So let's finally get started. The 328i was available at launch in 2012 and was obviously one of the more watered down models. That's not to say it wasn't good, just watered down. It was like G2 Gatorade, something people don't want to drink, but they drink it because it's better for them. It came with a motor called the N20, which was a 2-liter turbo inline 4 that was pushing out a pretty decent, honestly, 241 horsepower, which is not bad whatsoever when you consider who was mainly buying these cars. I'm talking old folks and soccer moms, the complete opposite of the Mark Roden demographic, baby. Let's go. However, you would be one foolish little turkey if you thought that they stopped there. The BMW F30 was actually the first 3 Series generation to not only exclusively offer turbo motors in the entire line, but also to get rid of the hydraulic power steering systems and instead use electric power steering systems. What? What? Oh my god, that's crazy. Can you believe BMW is putting electric power steering in their cars? Oh my god. Which honestly some people say makes for a very less raw driving experience, but overall has proven to be very successful in both the longevity of a car and its handling capabilities. In 2015, for the refresh, or what we call the LCI, which stands for Life Cycle Impulse, they changed the name of the 328i and called it the 330i now, which still had a 2-liter turbo inline 4, but this time they bumped the horsepower up by 7. Meaning it was sitting at 248 horses. Now, that's right below 250 though, so if you own one of these and you don't just say that you make 250 horsepower, you're doing yourself a disservice. The way they bumped the horsepower up was simple. They made a completely new motor. Instead of the N20, it was now the B48, which is obviously no B58, but for an inline 4, the B48 definitely has some potential when modding it. The 328i/330i has never really been the sporty version of the BMW 3 Series, however. They always leave that to the M3, obviously, or in recent years, a 335i/340i. But considering you can buy a 328i F30 for literally half the price of a 340i at this day and age, it totally makes sense as to why people would buy these instead. They're still fun, can still be offered in rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. They can still have a manual transmission, although it will be pretty hard for you to find, and it's just as practical and comfortable to actually drive while being significantly better on gas and even more reliable than a 335i or 340i. The big downside, however, is of course the performance, because yes, you can look at around 300 real horsepower with full bolt-ons and a tune with a B48 or even with an N20, honestly, but which again isn't bad. But when the 335i and the 340i come with that horsepower number stock, you start to see the appeal.
Got a paddock on my wrist, doing front flips, giving you my number, but
that's right, partner. The 335i and 340i are both just absolute powerhouses, even bone stock. The 335i, which was available at launch in 2012, for example, comes with an N55, the successor to the legendary N54 that was found in the previous generation E9X, a motor that is incredibly fast with nothing but bolt-ons as long as it's running, which, I mean, is about as common as actually getting all the gentlemen in an Xbox party at the same time, but that's what makes the N55 so incredible. It fixed most of the issues that the N54 had before it, and in true BMW fashion, created some of its own problems as well, like some very scary rod bearing issues. But overall, the motor was much better, and not only reliability wise, but also power wise. It was the same formula as the N54, however, a 3-liter twin turbo inline 6, and it managed to push out 302 wheel horsepower from factory. That's not to say it can't reach significantly more though, partner. We're looking at upwards of 400 wheel horsepower on something as simple as full bolt-ons and a tune with the N55. And as a nice middle ground for pricing and sportiness between the 340i and 328i, I actually think it's a car that much more people should actually look into purchasing instead of just immediately going for the 340i. You can save a lot of money, and honestly, if you're not looking for a huge amount of horsepower, you'll probably get the horsepower that you want out of the car for significantly less. But with that being said, there is a massive reason that people want the 340i over the other models so much, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't fully understand that reasoning, because the motor in the 340i is just so damn good.
I need it!
340i came as part of the 2015 LCI, and ever since it came out, BMW guys just do not know how to act. It was not only offered with a much better motor than the other models, but it also looked much better, and that's because of a little something called the M Sport package. Now, every version of the F30 can be offered with the M Sport package, don't get me wrong, Sally, but actually finding a 328i or 335i M Sport for sale is harder than Taco Bell employees actually getting my order right, since again, most of the people buying the 328i's or the 335i's, 330i's, whatever, would have rather just paid less, since the benefits of M Sport don't really matter to them. But for some reason, almost every single 340i for sale out there has the M Sport package on it, which if you don't know, gives the car bigger brakes, 18-inch wheels and tires, and a completely different body kit from the front to back, blacked out grills, carbon fiber mirrors, and a much more sporty looking interior as compared to the typical tan or brown interior. But obviously with a much more aggressive design to it, it better be packing a harder punch, right? That boy better be hitting like freaking John Bones Jones of the F30 BMW world, right? Oh, well, don't worry, Jared, he is. freaking, this absolute just behemoth of a car also came with a 3-liter twin-turbo inline-six, just like the 335i, but this was no N55, sir. No, sirree. It was called the B58, and it made 322 horsepower from factory, with potential to very easily get up to 500 horsepower, or even 550 horsepower with nothing but bolt-ons and the correct tune. That is absolutely insanity, man. 550 horsepower was literally supercar territory just a short like 15 years ago, and now you can get it in a car that was meant to be the more sophisticated version of the M3, which, by the way, only makes 425 horsepower bone stock. And if you get the X-Drive version, or the all-wheel drive model, then it has no problem getting traction either, whether it's from a dig or a roll. It does all of that while still being a family sedan that you can carry your kids around in if you want to. But sadly, with that being said, it also came with a couple of downsides. One of them is it's still going to handle like a family sedan, so you definitely are going to have to invest in some suspension mods as well, which shouldn't be that hard to do considering all F80 M3 suspension bits bolt right onto the F30 platform, meaning you can literally just have F80 M3 handling with more power than the F80 M3 for significantly less than the cost of just going out to buy an F80 M3. And again, if you wanted to buy an F30 platform but just don't have the money to afford a 340i, which is totally understandable by the way because they're crazy expensive right now, then the 328i or the 335i are both very decent options as well. Just don't expect to be gapping everybody with a 328i, obviously, because that's not what they were built for, partner. On this channel, I pretty much exclusively talk about cars that are in a perfect little gray area where they're pretty much as cheap as they're going to be, and that is 100% not the case with this BMW. I want to make that very clear to people. I don't think going out and buying an F30 right now is a good investment, especially not something like a 340i. They're sitting around like $25,000 for one with around like 60,000, 80,000 miles, and that's quite the opposite of what is a good investment. These cars are only going to continue to drop in price, especially since the G20 3 Series just recently came out and people are buying those up now. But if you are in a position where you can afford a nicer, newer sedan that you can get to work and back while not only looking cool as hell, but also while being fast as hell and decently reliable, I honestly couldn't see myself buying anything else besides maybe like a Q50 or a WRX. And that, my friends, is what makes the BMW F30 so great. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of what makes the BMW F30 so great. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. I did not film this with my phone, but I am filming this now with my phone, which is why I'm not making direct eye contact with the camera because the camera's over here, but I like to look at myself. I don't like filming my phone. I was filming on the GoPro, filmed it all, went to go edit it, then realized, oh boy, I forgot to film an outro, so I whipped out my phone real quick. Long story short, I don't like using my phone to film because look at this. This is how I talk to the camera because I like to look at myself when I'm filming, but the camera's over here. It's so frustrating. On top of that, I don't like looking at myself when I film because then I'm always like, oh wow, I'm ugly. But with the GoPro, you can't see yourself when you're filming. You're just, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. But let me know, obviously, what other, what makes it great, deep dives, whatever you want to call them, that you want to see next in the comments. That's usually where I get my ideas from. So the next one is going to be on the Dodge Neon. Spoiler alert. So I already started writing out that script. I'm actually writing it right now. So, you know, expect to see a car if you do leave it down below in a couple of days. Also, don't expect to see it at all because if like 15 people leave a car that they want to see down below, I obviously can't do all of them. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.